Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey.
We are the Markout Movie Podcasters. And on today's episode, we are doing Last Action Hero from 1993, Arnold Schwarzenegger's first flop, but it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets. And that's what we're talking about today. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm good.
You good?
I really am good. I don't know why I said it like 10 times, but
I'm good. All right. Well, yeah. So, like I said, today we're doing Last Action Hero. I would show you a trailer. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, maybe a quick trailer. I'll try it and see what happens. Yeah, we'll try it. Here we go. Last Action Hero. I'm good, Brandon. You good?
I am.
Yeah. Oh Lord, I'm doing the wrong thing. All right. Present arms. Share. Brandon moving stuff.
Yeah.
Let's take it out. Here we go. And
There we go.
all right. So I showed enough of it. Before we get to it, did you watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer?
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, it looks good. It looks like it's gonna be a solid Turtles animated picture. I know some people are complaining they didn't see Shredder, but I think he's in there. He's not in the trailer, but I think he's in the movie. I mean, I liked it. It looked like Turtles. I'm glad they actually cast kids to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's cool. And I love the Jackie Chan being Splinter. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it makes it adds to it. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jackie Chan. I mean, he'll do a much better job than Tony Shalhoub.
Definitely. All right. Well, Last Action Hero came out in 1993. Of course, starring Arnold Braunschweiger, the famous comedian. But no, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know the name of the kid.
Austin O'Brien. I only know this because he's in My Girl 2. And what's that? Okay, I can't hear nothing.
He's in the sequel?
Yeah. He replaced Macaulay Culkin.
All right, yeah. So I won't go away from the screen. It seems like it messes up, so I'm gonna stay on this screen. All right. But yeah. So you have Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie. The premise is this kid, Danny, who has a really crappy life. His mother's a widow. They live in a rundown apartment in a bad neighborhood, and just to escape his life, he turns to movies. Which I say that a lot of those fans of films, like I am, and you. I'm not saying that our lives are bad, but just like the escapism that is the movies.
Yeah.
And so I could relate to that aspect of it.
Yeah, I was thinking this watching it, but I've always thought that kids that watched movies like Danny did, that represented the 90s kids that went to the theaters like that. I didn't go to theaters like that. I wasn't allowed to, but I did watch movies when they came out on video. I would rent 4 to 5 a week, so I could relate to Danny in some aspects, especially when it comes to movies. But
But yeah, so the film has Arnold Schwarzenegger, F. Mary Abraham, Art Carney as Frank. Frank's the projectionist, right?
no, that's Nick.
Nick, okay. And then Charles, no, Frank is his second favorite cousin.
Yeah.
Charles Dance is Benedict, who is excellent, an excellent villain. He's actually, and I thought about this watching this. So backstory: when I watched this back in '93, as a 13-year-old little dude, I I didn't get what he was trying to do with it, and so I didn't really care for it. Although I remember having the toys though, but I didn't really get what he was trying to what Arnie was trying to accomplish with this. But watching it now, man, as you said, I said I had a great time, but yeah, I had a blast as well, Brandon. So
Yeah, I just, oh man, there was just so much to take in from this movie. I mean, I loved it as a kid. I had no idea what it was as a kid because I just loved the concept that a kid could enter a movie. I love that concept. It brings the film to life even more for me. But I now know it's satire. It's he's kind of making fun of himself, which I would say he's probably the first big action star to do so. I can't remember when Sly did, or if he ever has really.
Well, I would say this and what is it? Demolition Man. I think Demolition Man was kind of a similar concept in the sense of poking fun at the whole action genre but it didn't say, hey, I'm poking fun at action genre. This is meta before there was even meta. Like yeah, like I loved that. I loved how the world in the movie, he really, the beginning of the movie starts with it starts like a Lethal Weapon type of film or something where there's like a standoff or something like that, and the cops are getting shot at, and then all of a sudden you see Slater, and which Jack Slater, and he was believable as Jack Slater, and the sergeant is like, no, you can't go in there, Slater. You already done cost the city so much money and blah blah blah. It's like things for beat what you see in action movies. Like it's not like it's not that it's not the same thing as like Loaded Weapon, where that's a parody. This is satire, like you said. It's lovingly poking fun at action movies. And I would say it's like celebrating action movies as well.
And what better guy to star than Arnold, who is considered the greatest action star of all time? I mean,
I would consider him the greatest action star, honestly. Like where we talk about the GOATs, Arnold is like I call Arnold the greatest action star, and like he's top tier. Him and Sly was top tier, and then everybody is beneath him. that's where I would land, honestly.
So. But I would put Bruce somewhere close to Arnold and Sly, somewhere close. I mean, he's not there, but he was close.
Yeah, had Bruce lived,
well, I mean, he's still, but yeah.
But anyway, but I love that. But what I'm saying is, like, you see the movie and the scene on top of the roof, very similar to Die Hard. With although that wasn't the top of the roof, it was like the top of the one of the top floors in Die Hard. But the Ripper, is falling off the building, but he pulls Jack Slater's son with him. But we don't know that yet. We just know that he's falling, but then it's like a sort of a cliffhanger because the film starts to blare out.
I always remembered seeing him pull his son. So I don't know if that's no longer, I don't know if they've changed that when they put it on streaming or what, but I remember when I was a kid seeing that scene. but maybe I just misremembering. I don't know. But I do have a question for you though.
Yeah.
After you watched this, did you wish that the Jack Slater movies were real?
I did, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see. Actually, I would have been interested to see what the next Jack Slater film would have been like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it really was. And I love that. You know, and I say this: Arnold Schwarzenegger was so convincing as Jack Slater that when Arnold Schwarzenegger actually pops up in the movie as a cameo, uh, it was believable that they were two different people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He doesn't get enough credit as an actor. He's a very good actor. You know, I mean, he really is. I mean, he doesn't give enough credit, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. That was so believable that they were two different people.
Yeah, I love but I love whenever the kid leaves the theater. Uh, it just gave me the vibe of like Plaza Six, like that theater, just an old sort of rundown theater at that point, or Martin Twin. It's more like Martin Twin that was at the old mall here in town, just like an old rundown theater that shows like old runs of prints of movies, which is not believable that he would get like the brand new print of a movie and this theater is about to be turned into something else. I don't believe that whatsoever. But but I understand. But if anybody can get it, Nick can. Nick was lovable too. I
Yeah,
love the actor Nick. I love him.
yeah,
Like
Robert Protzy, something to that
yeah,
degree.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's great, man. Like he's one of the best parts about Gremlins too. Actually, he plays like the vampire guy that wants to work in news. He started being schlock and doing
yeah,
like vampire stuff like that. He wanted to be a serious reporter, and so he got a chance in that movie. But yeah, absolutely loved him in that. And I love that the relationship that he has with Nick, no, with Danny rather, and the grittiness of Danny's life. And Danny doesn't. He's so separated from his life, like that. Even in class, he daydreams about uh, Jack Slater
yeah.
uh, as Hamlet, which I would be down to watch it actually.
That actually reminded me of the Chuck Norris movie Sidekicks, him daydreaming about
Yeah,
it. I guess that came about the same time as well. Like they were all trying similar stuff back then, trying to be meta before meta was meta. but
Robert Prosky, but you're right. By the way, the
yeah,
guy's name.
yeah, I knew it
Um,
was Robert. I knew it started with a P. I just if it was Protsky or I probably mispronouncing it myself.
but
But
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I loved all the action sequences in this movie. The ET reference I love too with Danny on the bike. I love that. There was a Lethal Weapon moment there. Gotta mention it at the video store. The Terminator.
Well, before we get there, I was trying to go there. So let's go ahead and jump into. So Danny goes to the theater to watch. After getting robbed, he gets held up, which was actually a very scary scene. Uh, him getting forced in his house at gunpoint or knife point, I guess, at knife point. But yeah, it was a very scary scene.
Yeah,
Uh, I actually thought it was a gunpoint, but it's a knife. I don't know if they digitally changed that or what. I just remembered it being a knife, gun, not a knife. But anyway, but yeah, so he gets held up, and then after that, he files a police report at a real police station. He goes to the theater, and Nick gives him a ticket by Harry Houdini, and tears it, and it's magical. And that ticket transports him uh, into the movie. And so I love the scene where like there's a shootout uh, at the very beginning of the actual Jack Slater 4 picture. You have Jack Slater's favorite second cousin getting killed, and the movie is about revenge. Um, so his favorite second cousin is getting killed by Benedict and the Italian, the
yeah,
Sicilian schmuck, as he calls him. Uh, But yeah, and it leads to a gun fight and a chase scene, and dynamite getting thrown and shot, and it lands in the theater, and the kid jumps, and next thing you know, he's in the back of Jack Slater's car.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, can you imagine just being a kid, being transferred into a movie? There's as an action sequence, guns going off, explosions. Man, that's the life.
Yeah, and what I love about it is, like, I feel like there's another movie that came years later that did something similar. I can't think of it, but uh, where people interact with the fictitious character of something, and I forgot what it is. I'm pretty sure there is, but this movie was revolutionary in the sense of taking that concept of these this character, this kid being placed into the world of a fantasy character,
Yeah.
and seeing how the rules apply to film logic. Like in movies, there's always pretty women. In movies, there's no poverty really around. There's everything's well lit. Uh, I love the police station
Oh
scene.
yeah.
Like first of all, you see Sharon Stone. This is Sharon Stone, like total Basic Instinct. Sharon Stone leaving the station. Then you see
Robert Patrick.
the bad Terminator, uh,
T-1000.
T-1000. Yeah, you see him, uh, and I love that little cameo between the two. Like it's just they was in the movie together again. That's so
Yeah.
great. Like it's just like it was blowing my mind, and I'm pretty sure there's other cameos that I totally missed right then, but those are the two that stood out to me.
Oh yeah. I mean, then there's the cat, which is played by Danny DeVito. I did not know this for the longest time. That was Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I didn't know it until like I watched a review on this movie yesterday, and then also I didn't notice Humphrey Bogart in the like I think I noticed, but I forgot that he was in there. Like a digital Humphrey Bogart is in the police station. I love that where they're giving out the assignments, the
Yeah.
assignment desk. I love that essentially he's giving out different movie buddy cop concepts. Like so you have like the German and the Jew together. And that was like a buddy cop type of scenario. Like he's German and he's Jewish. It's just like, and then like with the cat, although that won't fly today, you can't touch. You gotta have consent, buddy. But but
What
yeah,
did
no,
you just say?
the,
You
the
gotta
cat
have a.
consent whiskers.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay.
yeah, he kind of touched the female officer. You can't do that, my man. That's a no.
You can't do anything today, so
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can't
But
even compliment anyone today.
yep. But yeah, no, I love that. I love just the station and the yelling sergeant. Speaking of the yelling sergeant, when he was yelling the other time, right before he fires him, I love. I was listening. I had subtitles, and he was just saying incoherent stuff.
Yeah.
He talked about the California raisins. And he talked about Fiddler on the Roof. Like it's just uh, like just rambling. It's great though. Oh man, such great stuff. But yeah, the video store.
Yes, the video store, because they were trying to prove that Jack Slater was truly Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you said it earlier. Oh, the comedian.
Yeah.
But it's like, I forget the movie they was asking for, and they say, oh, they weren't asking for a movie, they were asking for Arnold, and they said porn films over there. No, he's an action star.
Yeah.
And they come across the Terminator 2 poster. Oh, I love this guy. He's great in this role. It's his best performance.
I loved it.
And it was Stallone. And I mean, I remember when I first saw that, I was shocked. Because I was like 10. I was like, what are they doing? What's because I was kind of at the age where I kind of still thought movies were kind of real. So
well, we all knew that. So Arnold and Sly had a lovely film rivalry, if you
yes,
will, when it comes to like being action stars. Because like you can't talk about Sly without talking about Arnold. You can't talk about Arnold without talking about Sly. And like the closest I ever got to them being in the same thing together was what's that game?
Contra.
Contra. Yeah, essentially it was Arnold and Sylvester Stallone in a game. It's Commando and Rambo together.
Yeah.
And so it was fun for me. That was great. But yeah, but to see that, and then like in Demolition Man, Arnold is the president. You don't see him, but they mentioned that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the president. And so it's just like little jabs at one another.
Which turned out that he wanted to be. So
yeah. But yeah, I love I love that. I want to talk about one of my favorite people in this movie. Also, Tina Turner's in it, by the way.
Yeah.
She's a quick cameo. Tina Turner's in it. But I love I love how first of all, whenever they mention his wife, the kid Danny's like, don't worry, she's not in the movie. Her name wasn't in the credits. Just like I love just that, but I love Benedict Charles Dance. Yeah. I think he was legitimately a great villain. Whether like he was legitimately great. He gave me Hans Gruber vibes.
Yeah, I got those same vibes, and the other villain I thought was really good too for the small time he had.
Ripper.
I wanted to see that movie so bad.
Yeah. That guy, Ripper, I know him best as the Frankenstein's monster in Monster Squad. He played Frankenstein's monster in that movie. But yeah, man, I can't wait to get to that part to talk about the opening night, all the cameos. Oh my goodness! But yeah, so man, just so this kid, they're going through this movie. They find out that the kid's trying to convince him that he's in a movie, and Jack Slater is trying to find out who killed his favorite second cousin, and F. Mary Abrams in this movie. He's like, that guy killed Mozart. I never seen Amadeus, but I guess he killed Mozart. I didn't know that. I never seen that movie, but
I haven't either. Still to this day, have not seen it.
But F. Mary Abraham is good. He's also a good villain. He's always a villain to me, no matter what he's in.
I don't think I've ever seen him play a good guy, to be honest.
Only in by voice. He was in what's that show that was on Disney Plus, the Marvel one, Moon Knight. Yeah, he's the voice of Moon Knight. Kantu. But anyway, I've never seen him play a good guy. Like I immediately go to 13 Ghosts.
Yeah,
it's a shady uncle. So
yeah, that's and it's kind of bad that you go to that, but I go to that too, but because he's had a pretty solid career, but we know him from horror. So I mean, if he heard that, he'd probably be one lousy movie I did. And you remember it, like
it's a fan favorite though. It's like kind of like this movie. It's like a movie that critics probably crapped on, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. So yeah, I have no qualms with this movie at all. It's 2 hours, but it didn't feel like 2 hours.
No, not really.
I thought that it had enough things to keep you interested, as far as like the logic, and then it switches the script again. It becomes a fish out of water with Arnold in the real, with Jack Slater in the real world, and I love that. It's just like I loved it. I love this movie. But yeah, you want to talk about them going into the real world and that. So Benedict is recruiting. He gets a ticket and he starts to realize if I can go through this film, in this world, I can kill a man and nobody cares. Then villains can win here. They can be happy here. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to pull villains from other movies. And he literally name drops Freddy Krueger, but he marks and circles Friday 13th and Nosferatu or Dracula that came out around the same time. So he has a game plan to get some of the horror movie villains, and
that would have been incredible. Could you imagine?
That would have been cool. Like if they could have spent the money to do something like that, where there was a battle, like before the big boss, the big bad. There's a battle where you have Jack Slater going up against a Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger, or Robert Englund as Freddy too. That'd been great. But that'd been New Line, and I don't think New Line. This is Columbia, so I don't know if they were vibing like that. But now studios. I don't think now studios will see that they could gain together by doing something like that. That's why you have like movies like Ready Player One that has all these different properties popping up, or stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, it would have been incredible if they could have pulled it off, but unfortunately, studios weren't. If it was even asked, they probably wouldn't have done it because they thought, no, we don't need you. We don't need your help. Kind of like Arnold and Sly at the beginning, their feud. They literally thought they were better. Each one was better, and they never would do a team up movie. I know it was pitched. It was pitched several times. They just wouldn't do it, and the people that really lost was the fans. And I know they finally did it when they got old, but it's not the same as it could have been back then. But yeah,
who was in Tango and Cash?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I feel like that should have been. I think I've never seen Tango. I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen Tango and Cash.
Never seen Tango and Cash,
or I don't remember it. But yeah, I felt like that would have been a really good vehicle with Arnold and Sly.
Well, they were supposed to do one. I know in '97, Face Off was supposed to be them too, and I just can't see it.
Now it's good who it was.
Yeah, I can't see anyone else.
And Nick, Travolta and Nick, man, it's great. Even to this day, people still show pictures of like one or the other and say, "Well, I got to take a picture with Nick Cage or Travolta," and I love that. I love that it's still its own meme now. But yeah, no, I love this. So at this, when they go to the premiere, you see so many people. MC Hammer's there.
I missed him.
Yeah, MC Hammer. He said, "Hey," he went up to Jack Slater and said, "Hey, so it's a done deal, right? Me doing the music for Jack Slater 5." Which that's funny because at the time MC Hammer was doing like the music for like Addams Family and things like that. So that's funny. But yeah, and then you had Damon Wayans and Chevy Chase. They're the one that got knocked out the way by Jack Slater.
Yeah.
You have Jim Belushi.
Yeah, I love his line. I don't like Arnold. I'm not a fan. Because he played it off like he did in Red Heat, and I don't know if you've seen that, but it was a movie they did together. I just thought it was great.
What's the name of the movie?
Red Heat. Arnold's a Russian in that movie, tracking a killer who comes to I think it's Chicago, and Belushi's a Chicago detective. They have to team up together, and they don't like each other, and they, it's the Russians and the Americans in the Civil War,
Oh, the Cold War, you mean? Cold War.
Cold War, but I mean, it's just. I thought it worked well. Their chemistry worked well. Overall, the movie was just okay, but I really loved when they were on screen together. It was comedy gold when they were on screen together.
Yeah.
So it was good seeing him.
There was him. I'm trying to think of. There's so many. There's like a who's who of cameos.
Van Damme got a little cameo in it.
Little Richard. Yeah, Van Damme, which was like you don't understand how that's even major back then because you're like, what? Jean-Claude Van Damme is in a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Like it's like he was like lower tier. He wasn't on the same level, but it was still cool to see
Yeah.
like him in a movie with him. You're like, oh my goodness, I wish they would have shared screen time together or something.
Yeah,
But
me
that,
too.
like that was a missed opportunity. But yeah,
Yeah, I was expecting like Stallone to show up, Chuck Norris at this point, but they didn't. But it would have been even cooler if they had. But we got Stallone as the poster, so that was. I mean, it makes me laugh till this day. Him as the Terminator. I mean,
yeah,
I
and
actually wanted to see a Arnold and Sly Terminator movie.
yeah, for that to happen, Sly's people had to sign out for it to happen. So
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing that they were able to let it happen. This movie, it was a flop. It didn't make the money back that they wanted, but I think that had it been released now, it would have been a hit because it was like because now we're used to meta and to see multiple big people in the same film together. It
yeah.
wasn't really a thing then, and so it was just like for me, I thought it worked. But yeah, man, I loved so Ripper's the real guys, the guy's agent is played by the same dude was in the
The
Burbs.
Burbs.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
neighbor.
yeah.
Which
I knew
I was
you would
like,
bring it up because you're such a big fan of that movie. Yeah.
yeah. I recognized him immediately. I'm like, hey, it's my dude from the Burbs. And I was like, he's like, he said, does Nicholson show up to the premiere of Batman dressed like the Joker? I don't think so. You know, which is great. Like just the real world stuff happening. But man, I absolutely loved it. I loved that. Now the final act and stuff. I love that you had you had Jack Slater take out the Ripper. Ripper was very scary. He was actually a very scary character.
Yeah.
Like you said, I would love to see him in something. Like if that guy has a standalone horror film with him with an axe doing stuff like that in the raincoat, it'd be great. I'll watch it.
Oh yeah, like I said, this movie made me actually want to see a Jack Slater movie. It's just I wanted so much more than what we got, and it's a shame that it flopped. But I think Arnold blames it on politics, like he said something. But I don't know. I think it went up against Jurassic Park too. So
Yeah, it went up against Jurassic Park, and I think at that time Spielberg had the movie before Jurassic Park was a flop, and so they felt that JP is going to be a flop too. But obviously, Jurassic Park is
no,
one of the biggest films to ever come out. So,
I mean,
which I love Jurassic Park. I'm a huge mark
yeah,
for the original JP. So,
you're talking about a first real live action dinosaur movie too. I'm sorry, but that exceeds Arnold Schwarzenegger's popularity. We're talking about dinosaurs now. Live action dinosaur movie. I don't even. I think it could have been made by anybody. I'm not saying it been as good. It definitely wouldn't have, but that would have been a big draw.
yep.
But yeah. It's unfortunate it was a flop, but it's still a very entertaining movie, and he calls it himself. Arnold says it's his most underrated movie he's ever made, and I have to agree.
Yep.
Like considering what is underrated for him.
Do you feel like it's now has a cult following?
Oh yeah,
Like
I do.
I feel like honestly every review that I've seen about the movie online seems like it's from a place of people loving the movie, and
Yeah,
it was just misunderstood, and it was before its time.
yeah,
I think that it really has those the meta elements that we love today.
yeah.
Has enough Easter eggs that we love. Um, and I think that overall it works. So he gets shot. Jack Slater gets shot, and it's in the chest, and he's dying. But then like death from the Seventh Seal or something, and it's Ian McKellen.
think so.
Magneto. Is that It's Magneto.
I want to say. I mean, it looked like him.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
him.
see the credits or nothing, and
It's it's Ian McKellen.
yeah, I was thinking it looked like him.
Yeah, he plays Death, which is that's pretty cool. Now, I think that's the one complaint I see people complain about is it just feels out of nowhere when Death comes out of the screen and stuff.
Did kind of feel out of nowhere, but I kind of get what they're going for. I mean, I get it, but it felt out of place. I'm not gonna say it didn't because it did.
Well, he was ex machina in the sense of he he was solely there just to tell Danny to look for the other half of the ticket. That was his sole purpose, was to say,
Yeah.
if I were you, I would spend my time looking for the other half of the ticket. So that was the main purpose. So for all we know, Death is still walking around in New York City, killing people, just touching people and killing them. It's just what he's doing, which is problematic.
It's very problematic.
But I thought, what I would have done is right then, which it'd been pointless, but it'd been kind of cool, is to see the ticket keep maybe blowing around and going to different theaters or different whatever, and see other properties from the movies come out. Which that's what I would do today, and they could probably do it today, and they'll look really good. But no, but yeah, they get him back to the movie, and his chest wound is just a flesh wound. And
the doctor even said I wouldn't even call this a flesh wound. But yeah, he's gonna be just fine. And we kind of go right off to the sunset. But I did want to ask you something, since it's an Arnold movie and he's doing business with Netflix. He's got a hit on his hands with Food Bar. If he wanted to take this property, Last Action Hero, and do a sequel for Netflix, do you think people would be interested?
I know I would. I would love to see, I would love to see Jack. I would love to see this. I would love to see. This is how I would pitch it. Danny is now grown up. You can recast him. You don't have to have the same actor, or you can have the same actor. Whichever one you want to do, that's fine. He's a grown up. He has a son, and that son finds his father's ticket, and it starts shimmering for some reason while he's watching a movie or something, and the kid gets sucked into the movie. But the father needs help to locate him, so he turns to Jack Slater to help him, and maybe the only movie that he finds is it's like Logan type of scenario where it's an older Jack Slater.
Yeah.
And so he goes and gets an older Jack, to come out of retirement, to come leave the film, to come help him, or go through, or not even leave the film, but go through whatever film he's in. Just leave that town and go through other films and other genres to locate his son, or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. So it's like a road trip type of thing, but through different genres.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I would love to see it. I've always wanted a sequel, and it's got a cult following now, and he's relevant again, truly, for the first time since he's come back.
And all Arnold's stuff is on Netflix right now. Like all his movies is on Netflix.
Yeah, they're really celebrating him, and he's got a big hit. I was hoping it was going to do well, but nothing has since he's came back. Even the first time he came back with End of Days, nothing. It didn't transition to anything being a big hit for him. It was all flops. So I'm happy for him.
I will talk about this. So we did finally get Sly and Arnold in Expendables. The first movie, that first cameo scene that I didn't expect Arnold to come. I think it's a church scene. I think it's Arnold and Bruce.
Yeah.
Is that the first one? And they come in,
yeah.
Which for me, not only do you have Arnold and Sly, which I would put Bruce in that tier two because they were major for the 80s and 90s. But it was an amazing feeling just to like be like they're together. It's like
Yeah.
what? Like you can't wrap your head around the fact that they're together. And then like just like I just love Arnold popping up. I give him props for like sort of passing the torch and to the Rock
Rundown.
in Rundown. Yeah, like we know what it was, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as an action fan, that was a big moment. To see him pop up in The Rock. Like early 2000s, and he was getting ready to go for governor, or he was governor. I'm not sure if he was already governor, if he was just positioning himself to run, but that was a big moment. And he passed the torch, and The Rock got in a feud of his own that he's now patched up. But it was great. I mean, I've always felt like Arnold really cares about the fan base, about his fans. Like I feel it's genuine. Like where some people it's not, and you can tell it's not. But with him, I really do think he really cares.
And I'll say this about Arnold as well. Arnold doesn't mind poking fun at himself.
Does not.
Honestly, he doesn't mind poking fun at himself. In this movie, it shows that, but then movies like Junior shows that.
Oh yes, Junior.
Twins. Just like he's not afraid
He's not
to look silly, or to be comedic or whatever. Like the difference between Arnold and Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester takes everything so serious in his stuff, with the exception of like Demolition Man. I feel like he was a little bit more. It's more humorous.
I would also say Ron Stone and Stop or My Mama Shoot.
Yeah,
but for the most part, you're right. He's more serious in his. He hardly ever makes fun of himself.
Yeah, but I love that. But Arnold has no problem making fun of himself. Matter of fact, him saying "I'll be back." He said, "So you didn't know I was going to say that, did you?" He said, "No. Everybody literally waits for you to say that." He's like, "Really?" He says, "Rolling baby bumper bumpers" or something like that. He says, "You didn't know I was going to say that, did you?" He was like having a meltdown. He's like, but yeah, Arnold Braunschweiger, the comedian Arnold Braunschweiger. But yeah, absolutely loved it. You ready to give your marks or anything else you want to mention?
No, not really. I mean, I thought the cameos were cool. The action was great. I really liked the story. I really liked the kid and what he represents for kids that grew up during that era. It was just a really good time. My score would be a 5 out of 5. I cherish this movie. It's just something I love to rewatch when I get a chance to.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, man. I gave this movie 5 markouts out of 5. Yeah, I loved it. I was never bored at all throughout the whole movie. I love being older and now catching some of the jokes that I didn't catch when I was a kid. And just it's one of those movies that it's on Netflix for those that want to watch it. It's currently on Netflix. Like I said, a lot of Arnold stuff. I ain't gonna say all, but a lot of Arnold stuff is on there. Because he has a big deal with Netflix. Fubar is a new show. I haven't watched it. You said you've seen the episode?
I've seen the first 4. Yeah, I really like it. I heard really bad stuff about it, but I'm an Arnold fan, so he's really gonna have to mess up for me to dislike something of his. And he's not, like I say, he's not a spring chicken anymore. You can tell he's old, but his comedy is just as good as it ever was. So
yeah, and people didn't really like the last Terminator film, but I liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought the new Terminator, the new
he's in the show.
Terminator.
Gabriel Luna. Yeah, he's in the show. He's the villain.
Yeah, see, I loved him in the Terminator movie. I thought he was great. Like he actually put me in the mind of Robert. What's his name? Robert
Patrick.
Yeah, he put me in mind of him as far as like he made the Terminator frightening, just like terrifying.
Yeah, I agree.
and Arnold was too. Like the first Terminator movie, I always say this: first Terminator movie was a horror movie. It wasn't. It's an action movie, but it has a lot of horror elements.
It does.
Yeah, and so, but I love this. It's so I'll say the first two films, and then that Terminator with what was it, Genesis? No, what's it called? Terminator
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate. Yeah, I think if you watch those three films, then you have a great Terminator trilogy.
I think the only reason it gets any hate is because what they did to John Connor. I truly believe that. You know, if you haven't watched it, you watch it in the beginning, you'll see what happens. But I think that's the only reason it truly gets hate.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to him? But I thought it was a solid movie. It felt like a Terminator movie. You know, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I feel if you go back and do another one, Arnold says he's done with it, which he should be at this point. You got to go back to the original. You got to do something like that. You got to go back to the roots of where it started.
Yeah.
If you're gonna continue it or reboot it, remake it, whatever, it's got to feel like the first one.
Yeah. Well, I would love for them to make another Last Action Hero.
Yeah, I would too.
But yeah, what I was gonna ask you, what did you?
You broke up on me.
You froze on me.
You did too. What did you ask?
I said, what you have planned for next week?
Oh, I'm gonna go back to the Future too. I wish I didn't pick Willow.
Huh?
I wish I didn't pick Willow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But we did it. We went there.
We went there.
But all right, next week we have Back to the Future 2. Brandon, what do you want the people to do?
If you like this episode and want to see more, click that like button, click that share, comment, and subscribe to the Markout Movie Podcast channel. Also, you can find us on Facebook under the Markout Movie Podcast. Click like on that so you can follow what we're going to be doing each week.
Yep. All right. This week, for those that want movies to watch in theaters, you still have Little Mermaid out in theaters. This week it's joined by The Boogeyman, which is a horror film, and it's by Stephen King. I think Stephen King.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be by his short story, but I've heard some things.
Yeah, and then also, but the big one is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes,
that's coming out, which will win this weekend. It'll be the number one film. I'm planning on seeing that, hopefully. And yeah, that's it, man. And then there's stuff to watch across streaming, so just find something good to watch. If you have not Peacock, but if you have I forget, Paramount Plus, I highly recommend that you watch Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It is one of the best things I've seen in a long time, and it's just like really funny. If it had a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe to it, but stay true to its like time frame.
Yeah,
and I love it just Chris Pine. It was an excellent choice for this film, and I've never been a huge fan of his, but I thought he did a great job.
He did amazing. Best performance I've ever seen him give. Honestly, I won't go best, but it's the most fun character he's ever played. I'll put it that way. I'll not request, but I'll help promote something too on another streaming service. If you're getting ready for Indiana Jones later this month, go to Disney Plus. All 4 original movies are on there. Even the TV show Young Indiana's on there. So if you're a big Indy fan, you want to prepare, go to Disney. Why am I promoting Disney after Willow? I do not know, but I am.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy whatever you watch this weekend. Enjoy. Be safe. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out. Go ahead.
Thank you for marking out with us on the Markout Movie Podcast.